we make fun of America first. How the fuck am I supposed to see this little boy in his Negro worship trash bag after he's already removed from the Kanye West 2024 campaign at this point, and he's still wearing like these slave rags indicating his obedience to his Negro master? How am I supposed to look at this and see anything besides like a retard, socially handicapped, mentally addled little boy who has no idea what his actual personality is? I pity this. I pity this little boy. But from the start of it, like they're already like holding hands and playing like patty cakes with each other when this starts. So it kind of looks like he's assaulting him, and this dude's trying not to get physical. He uses his legs, and that indicates to me that he's not a fighter, because you don't use your legs when you're fighting, because when someone kicks at you, you just grab their leg and then you can pull them down to their ass. But it looks like he's just trying to get Nick Fuentes to fuck off. It looks like he's like pushing him against the wall in like a fit of tard rage, and then the other guy just kicks him to back off and then immediately walks away because there's like 4 of these guys surrounding him and he's being attacked. I don't see this as like this other guy is attacking Nick Fuentes, but that's how Nick Fuentes is going to play it off. I just see a confused little boy who's lashing out at somebody because things aren't going his way. Maybe I'm wrong though. Boof pack, that's right. That's right. Am I missing like context to this? It does look pretty retarded. The boof pack, the boots. Oh, he's wearing like stupid oversized like cowboy boots that you would wear if you were like stomping around in the sewer or something. Those are like utility boots for being knee deep in muck. What the fuck is he wearing this for? What is wrong with him? Can you not dress yourself? Is he not on good terms with any woman that can give him like a little bit of help to dress himself? Does his mother not tell him how to dress himself? Rain boots, yeah, but nobody else is wearing rain boots. That guy's wearing like platform shoes for whatever reason. But it's not like it's a downpour outside. This stupid ass fuck, just learn how to dress. Get Milo to dress you so you don't look so fucking stupid. All right.
Would you like a flight to Rutherford Village?
Since Ralph, or the Kiwi Farms has been down, Ralph feels safe to post things. I guess expecting that I won't make fun of him, but I will.
In the northern part of Dark
So the title of this is The Real Cruel Summer, and he says that because he says that his enemies had bad things happen to them last year. I don't even know what he's referring to unless it's like Drop Kiwi Farm, so I've never even heard this term before. I really don't know what he's referring to. But Ralph wrote this, and he's been boring this week. This is the only interesting thing he's done. He's pretending to be sober for May so that she'll come back to the stable.
And will attack those who trespass on their territory.
He says,
would you like a flight to Rutherford Village?
2022 was a whirlwind from start to finish. A beating in Portugal, the birth of my daughter, the war with Medicare, lies, wins, Warski getting obliterated, Madrid, another beating in Portugal, although not as bad, and I could do on. Ye 2024, anyone?
The underwater pressure is fierce here. Swimming too far will
and for me,
the mightiest swimmer from fatigue.
The year really didn't end until January 2023 with the successful and fun Ralph Mania. I was so worried about that show, and I shouldn't have been. Now that I look back, it may be the last time in my life I was ever truly happy. But I still had the drink, along with the other problem I thought I had gotten over once again. In late November 2022, I took my family to Cuba. It would have been a great trip in some ways if my dog Tug hadn't died at the animal shelter while we was away. We found out our last night in Cuba. I don't think we will ever know for sure what killed him. He was 15 years old after all, but I believe it was the vaccines at his age probably made him sick. They made him get some shots to stay there, in Mexico, I suppose. Sometimes they get shock even at staying at the shelter as well, come to find out. Or it could have just been his time. I don't know. Regardless, I just can't help feeling that if I had stayed home, he would still be alive today. Also, he died without me, just like my mom back in 2021. I've always been soul crushed by that fact, even thought there was nothing I could do to stop it due to the CDC. To say this brought back some buried pain would be an understatement. If I could find myself in tears, or I would find myself in tears at the drop of a hat if these thoughts came into my mind. I remember a couple times having to cut the camera of my show because it popped into my head for whatever reason. I remembered having another thought in Cuba. Was the dog dying the end of my relationship with Amanda? Question mark. I don't know why that went through my head. Well, it may have actually.
Welcome to SWCA. We're proud to be one of the largest environmental compliance firms in the country, and we're excited to have you on board. You'll get the opportunity to work on dynamic projects, develop new skills, and work with talented teams across the country. Our projects take us to exciting places all over the United States. SWCA's success is due to the smart and talented people we have at all levels of the organization, and we're happy to have you among them.
To maintain our link to the mainland.
Congratulations, and thank you for being a part of the SWCA team. We look forward to your contributions and hope to provide you with a rewarding career.
Welcome to SWCA from Salt Lake City.
Welcome to SWCA from out in the field.
Welcome from Human Resources.
Welcome from the Phoenix Consulting Team.
Welcome from Accounting. Welcome to SWCA from Payroll.
Welcome from Denver.
On behalf of safety,
Welcome to SWCA.
Welcome from Pasadena.
Hi, I'm Steve Carruthers, founder of SWCA Environmental Consultants, and I would like to officially welcome you aboard.
Been the start of it, although I didn't really understand it at the time. I was having a rough morning thinking about this stuff, and it taken me a while to even peg what just had come over me and why, to be honest. When I decided to pull up to a doctor and get some Xanax. I've had some major problems with Xanax before in my life. More than anyone reading this sentence, I can pretty much guarantee you. So I knew not to do this, but the voice in my head telling me I could handle it said, "You got this. You know exactly what to do. Just take a few, they won't notice, and you'll forget. It'll ease the pain." That's one thing Xanax will definitely do, help you forget everything and ease the pain. Now that pain might be caused or might be eased because you end up creating another greater pain, but still, it does those two things. She came back from vacation with her family and told me some things that her sister had said, some words that were exchanged through text messaging that I might not have sent otherwise, and then some of my property got lost, etc. Relations between her family and I quickly went downhill, is what I'm saying. I won't go into all that. I regret it happened in the first place and my part in it. But is yet another area Xanax fucked up my life, basically. I like how in this admission that he's like a retard and sabotaged any sort of goodwill between him and May's entire family was his fault. But instead of just saying that, he's like, I regret that I had to do, like, I regret that I had to put down my dog that was sick. You know what I mean? It's something that you have to do and it feels bad. Like, sure, you had to put two between old Yella's eyes out back, but you know, she was suffering, but that's regrettable. But in this, like when you apologize, you say like, I am sorry that I did that. This is not an apology. This is I regret that I had to take two and put it between old Mr. Whatever the fuck, Mr. May's face. Now this was in December. I got off Xanax in December, got married in January, and had a successful Ralphomania wrestling show later that month. Then what did I do? Decided to go right back to Xanax. I don't even remember the thought behind it at the time, and I don't remember much of the next 3-4 months either. Past and present users of the drug know just how quickly this can happen. It's sort of scary, and my problem began to get scary on air. It was no longer possible to do the sorts of shows that I had been doing. I would nod out or be slurring my words so badly, ... much more than if I was just drunk. I wasn't very aware of what was going on. Memory was zero. Some people stopped watching the show, watching spelled without a G, despite this being a written piece of paper. Other people were afraid of me, or afraid for me. Looking back, as much as I can anyway, I don't blame them. In late April, my wife left me with our daughter in tow. I remember that one. I took 1 day to adjust. I'll write about 1 day in particular sometime, but I've been sober since then. 14 days here in a few hours. I don't blame Amanda either. There was nothing else she could do, really. I wasn't going to change anything or was going to half-ass it for a long while before I did. This gave me the brutal reminder of what had really made me happy in life. My wife, my daughter Rosanna, our family. It wasn't the pills or the booze or even weed. I stopped that too. I wish I could tell you that sobriety had made my life easier. It has not. If anything, it's probably a little bit harder, if you want to know the truth. I only had one craving for alcohol, and that was at the airport in Sacramento on day 2. I'm fully aware that the alcohol won't make things better, nor will the pills, nor will smoke. But the pain of losing my life and my wife, and not to mention my daughter, it seems almost insurmountable. We're only separated for now, but you know, I'm also a realist. There's a chance, and maybe even a likelihood, who knows, that I could keep going on as I am, sober on this new path, and still have lost my life. That's what they don't put in the movies. In the movies, you get your family back, guaranteed. This is all, in case you're wondering, this is all a plea to Amanda Morris to come back so that the AORs do not win. How does a person accept that unknown, and the unknown makes it worse, make no mistake, and still go on? I called last summer Cruel Summer because all the damage we were putting on our enemies. I remember thinking it was pretty clever at the time. This is the real Cruel Summer though. Alone in Mexico with no wife, no daughter, just the memories of them dancing in my head. I can still see them when I turn the corner in this big house that I no longer need. I was used to watching my daughter wake up some mornings. Others I would come down and smile at her as she smiled back at me. It's almost like you really lost her. Her pack and play is still downstairs. Many of her toys are, some of her clothes, along with her mother's. It's basically a nightmare now that I think about it. A frozen state there for me to sulk over. A shrine to my failures. That's what I wake up to every morning now instead of my smiling daughter. I am sober though. I have dropped 14.1 pounds since then. I'm still in contact with my wife and daughter. Things Could be worse, for sure. I just won't sit here and tell you it's been easy. I'm not talking about drinking or drugging, by the way. I mean, it's been hard just to live, just to stay alive, just to want to stay alive. It's funny. If I was a regular person, I probably would have killed myself over this shit, to be honest. I guess that's one benefit of being a public person with a lot of people who hate me. I still have an overriding drive to never do anything that makes them happy, and suicide would probably be right at the top of their wish list. Why did I write this? It's not, by the way, I don't want Ralph to die. I want Ralph to live forever and get married to Keffels and live forever with Keffels. Why did I write this? It's not really what you would call a feel-good story, all caps, is it? Well, for one, writing helps me process things, and I miss it so much. But also, I think too often people assume, guilty here, that if they get their demons under control or beaten, that they will magically get back everything they've lost, or somehow their old life will resume apace the very next day. I'm here to tell you that that most likely will not, unfortunately. There will be some rough times. Being drunk won't help you, though. Neither will being high. My mama used to tell me that you needed to feel the pain of life. You can't hide from life, son. It's still there when you wake up. I told her I most certainly could, and I tried for that for a long time. But it took everything for me in the end. I know not to go back there, but where do I go? I don't have the answer to give you. I wish I did. Maybe that's why I actually wrote this, come to think of it. Thank you for the many kind words I've received since I've been back on the mic. They've been much appreciated. Physically, I still feel better than I have in a long time. I think it's coming through on the keel stream. You can actually hear the difference. The messages and support I've received will never be forgotten. Many colleagues reached out as well. I talked to several in my darkest moments, and I appreciate their help. Thank you as well. By the Ralph Retort, May 10th, 2023. So, what do we learn? A, please come back, horse. I'm really sorry. I definitely have changed my ways. You can come back home now. By the way, fuck you, Joshua Moon. I'll never kill myself. And that is the Ethan Ralph update. Never again. What, were you guys upset? Is that why the chat was moving so fast? I read through the entire thing. Chat was moving so fast to the point where when it was moving so fast, I looked at my mic to make sure that I wasn't muted through the entire thing. Boring as fuck. I enjoyed it. Moves fast ass. Cat got my tongue. Fat got my tongue. Okay, for all you people who are bored of reading or hearing Ralph's writing, let me get a sip of water. I will now complain myself. I'll write my own sad southern draw article about the wife and the kids being gone. Thirsty. Okay, so the last week has been very bad. Literally, while I was streaming, the site and everything went offline because one of our providers dropped, and he dropped very suddenly, and I had been leaning on them more than I should have, because we basically had their full support, and it had lasted for a long time. And literally, like the same week, I got a message saying, like, don't worry, we have your back or something. And I assumed that if anything were to happen, because I don't fully believe in stuff like that, and thinking, well, just because somebody's, I've been told that many times, like, don't worry, we definitely have you. And then they're like shocked. Like, oh, I didn't know that they could do that and cause those kinds of problems. And I was like, well, I tried to warn you. But I really, 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 really thought that if anything did happen, he would give me notice. The fact that I was given no notice was a surprise to me, and I think also to him. And so the issue is that when the servers that I have IP addresses assigned to them, but when the network goes down, you can't reach them. So when I had access to my router but no access to the servers, and this was what, like, it drove me insane. I had access to the server but not access to the router. And I should not say router, I should say switch. And just to give you an overview, here was the issue. The public network went down. I could have still gotten the Kiwi Farms up immediately if I had just been given 5 minutes, literally 5 minutes of notice. I could have kept the Kiwi Farms up on because I could have assigned a different secret IP to it and routed to it through the front ends. No issue. Because I wasn't given 5 minutes heads up, I had no chance to get in and fix the server and change the IP before it went offline. That made me extremely upset. I stayed up like to early morning hours multiple times. Then one of my friends, who is a networking guy, was able to figure out a really, really slick way of getting into the server without having access to the public IPs. Really crazy networking hack that he pulled off. But I spent hours trying to figure out how to do NAT routing, which is basically changing the destination IP of a packet. And I figured out after hours and hours of fucking around that no, my switch is really a switch and it has no routing capability. It can't do NAT. There was no way, after hours of fucking around, no way for me to get into the server until my friend found a way more sophisticated way into the server than I did. So then, after fucking around with it all weekend, it gets back online. And then I mentioned that the server was going to get an upgrade because it was so busy, especially with the fish tank stuff, that the old physical server I had bought in 2020 was capped out on both RAM and storage. I needed more storage for basically everything, especially the database. So I had put in for three things actually. I had put in for 4 sticks of NVMe M2 SSDs. About 4 terabytes, and I'll make them about redundant, so it would be actually it'd probably be 8 terabytes, but 4 with reflection. And then M2 slots fit into either their own dedicated like space on the motherboard, or they fit into a PCIe slot. So I bought a PCIe converter that could take those 4 M2 sticks and convert them into a PCIe slot. Which, if you don't know what I'm talking about, very simply, I just bought more hard drives and a way to put them on the motherboard. It snaps together like Legos. It's the easiest shit. And then because we're also bottlenecked on RAM, I bought more RAM. I had 4 slots open for RAM. I bought the same kind of RAM, and I sent them over. And then right after the site comes up on Tor, by the way, after I got the site up or connected to the internet, there was an issue with the Tor because of a very impossibly hard to explain technical issue that drove me fucking crazy because there's no way of really diagnosing it. I just had to slam like a full spreadsheet flowchart of diagnosing networking issues, and that took me another day. I get it up, it's up for a couple hours, and then I get my email saying, by the way, we have all your parts now, do you want us to do maintenance? And I said, yeah, sure, why not? The site's been down for so long and it's only just come up, so now like people aren't used to the site being up yet, let's do it now. And then 2 hours later, I expected it to be like a 15-minute downtime. I get an email saying, it's fucked. And I said, okay. They explained that they had done a bunch of stuff. It does not boot. The fans start, the lights come on, but it does not boot. So I get another friend who's an expert at not an expert, but he knows more than I do when it comes to hardware. And he went through overnight because I was sleepy, and he went through and diagnosed it, and basically it was fucked. He actually couldn't believe it. He said there's no way that the motherboard is defective unless they took a hammer and chisel and fucked that piece of shit up. It is impossible for RAM and a PCIe card with M2s on it to make the main board go bad. So he went through and he diagnosed that even the debugging LED wasn't coming on. There's a part because it's a Supermicro ASRock mainboard. It has something called Dr. Debug, which is just an LED. It's way easier than most posts. Like usually when you boot up a mainboard, it goes beep, and that's how you know that it works. But when you have one of these, because the server mainboard, it has an LED light that literally has the 2-letter code and the 2-letter code reflects to what's actually broken on the main board, so you don't have to fuck around with it and figure out what specifically went wrong. That didn't come on. So the guy who built the server was pissed, and he said they definitely fucked it up. There's no way that server is bad. And I do believe that the main board is actually faulty, because the first month that we had it, the Ethernet port went out, wasn't it? There's actually a dedicated, one of the PCIe slots inside of it is actually dedicated to like a networking card, and those are very rare in the server these days. Usually you just get a networking built into the main board itself. We had an external, or like an additional networking card that could do 10 gigabit per second, just in case we ever needed it, but also because the Ethernet port on the main board went out. So I do believe that the board itself was faulty, because I've had issues with it before. But once this happens and I wake up to the news that no, really, it's fucked, now like at this point, like I get frustrated when the site's down. I get really stressed out, and I just have like this general sense of unease that makes me very unhappy. And I'm really thinking about, that's why, like, when I couldn't get access to the server, I was really chewing over what could I possibly do to fix this right now, and I couldn't focus on anything else. It chews at me when I know there's something I could be doing to bring it back up, and I'm not working on it. So when the server died, I really felt like I had been kicked when I was down. Like, not only do I have this other problem, and now the piece of shit's going to fucking break, and we're going to have like a week of continuous downtime. And now that I'm streaming, it's been exactly a week of almost continuous downtime, except for the brief, like, 2 hours that we were up on tour alone. So then, after that, I had a really difficult decision to make. The server itself is bad. What do we do? What do you do? So I had several options. I could go back to cloud. I could reinstall the Kiwi farms for literally the 40th fucking time since August. Reinstall it in the cloud again and get it back up there. But the issue with that is that the fucking thing doesn't start, and I don't have a living copy of the server at that point, because it just went down unexpectedly. And I'm working on getting everything more redundant, but things keep happening so fast I don't fully have time to focus on that. Or I could, buy parts and try to have them like fix the main board by swapping it out. Swap out the main board, reassemble it with a compatible motherboard, and hope that the motherboard, the new one, is compatible. And then if I'm doing that, then I might as well try to upgrade it to like a better main board with a dual CPU socket, and then have them extract the old one. I'm just going on like that sounds like just more opportunity for them to fuck it up. You know what I mean? For that shit to be fucked up. And I'm just sitting there thinking, what the fuck do we do? And then the guy who built the server suggested, here's an idea. Here's what I think you should do. Buy a fully built, refurbished server off of eBay, and then once that's in, swap all the hard drives over to the new server. And when that's done, send me back the old one, and then I will take my time and fix it, swap out whatever parts are necessary, and we'll get that server back up to exactly where the new one's at in terms of RAM and storage and shit. And then we'll send that one back, and you'll have a fully redundant copy of the server. I'm thinking that's right. That's the right thing to do. It would cost money. It costs over $5,000 to get this replacement, but I told him I need it overnighted as soon as possible, and I think it's on their way right now. I think it's coming at 10:30, and then I realized I'm going to be out of commission for 2 days. I think that there's nothing, literally nothing I can do besides talk to different ISPs and maybe see if they're interested in helping, and just basically network a little bit. Literally network, not like internet network, but human consciousness network. And so, to make use of these last few days and the time that I have with my site being down, I decided to play Path of Exile, Crucible, Hardcore League, and I leveled a Marauder up to about 60 something, and I was playing with Herald of Agony, and I died. Here's how I died too. I've only beat the actual campaign like once or twice on softcore, And then I got up to like the desert part in Act 8, and I said, you know, I'm doing so well. I'm gonna try one of the crucibles, and crucibles are like opt-in difficulty. So I get up to the crucible, and I thought, I'm doing so well. I'm gonna try this crucible at like 80. I think 80. I can do 80. It goes from like 0 to 100, and I've been doing them at like 70 and 50. 75. I'm doing just fine. I'll do this one at like 80, and then I fucking died. I ripped so hard. That was the biggest tragedy this week. I sat there because that was this morning. I was playing like, I should be preparing for stream, but I want to finish the campaign real bad. So I'll level up a little bit. I'll try to get to Kitava the second round, and then I fucking act. And then I went back and I started rolling new characters, and I kept dying, literally like 5 times in a row, to like the Roas. In the second map, the mud flats, the Roas, when you pick up the little seashells, I just kept dying to the fucking Roas over and over again. I was so pissed off. I was like, how did I get through the entire game almost the first time around? But then when I go back to play and trying to do the first act and just get through the Roas, I just kept dying to them. I was really pissed. So now I'm gonna do a cold damage over time, which the thing is, I place, like, I looked at my character list, and I have like all these elementalists and necromancers and shit. I'm like, God, I only play the fucking witch. It was nice to play Marauder just because it was different than what I usually play. Play what you know. Play what you know. So that was the worst thing that happened to me this week. As far as the Kiwi Farms goes at this point, it's difficult. The difficulty comes in that there are so many things that I need to stay online. Well, once the site is back up again, and hopefully that will be today. If it's not today, tomorrow, hopefully. We'll get it up on Tor. When it's up on Tor, everyone can just use the Tor browser to connect to the Kiwi Farms. The next step is how to figure out how to get it onto the ClearNet. And it's not just the same as connecting to the internet, because I also need DDoS protection, because surprise, Liz Fong Jones and the people trying to shut down the site know technology really well. And one of the things that is a technological difficulty to overcome is DDoS protection. And there are so few companies that do this, and the ones who are able to do this don't want anything to do with us at this point. So I have very limited leads with that. However, and this is not a mystery, this is something that I've done before. IPv6 is effectively immune to DDoS attacks because DDoS attacks mostly come from old computers that are compromised by botnet viruses, and they do not have IPv6 capability. So if you, for now, as there's more adoption of IPv6, there will be more IPv6 based attacks. But for right now, IPv6 is mostly immunized from DDoS attacks. So when I do get public internet access, I'm gonna try to just do IPv6 and see if we can mitigate attacks normally through that. Because not only will I'll have like multiple points of entry, we'll have Anycast up, we'll have IPv6 in different places, and then hopefully that can just absorb the attack. We'll see. IPv6 is, okay, so if you don't know, let me see if I can put this up on screen. Just a very, very crash course. Can I? Okay, this works. I'll show you this. No, wait, that doesn't work. I'll just write it on text. Just real quick. This is a quick technical explanation. So, when the internet was founded, like in I think 1981 or 1983, January 1st is the official like birthday of the internet. They have IP addresses that look like this, right? And then you have different level networks. So you have like an 8 is every IP address that exists under the first number, and then you have a 16, which is so there are like 256 16s and an 8. And then you have a 24, which is this. And this is the minimum number that they assign you. So over time, like when the first networks were announced, they gave out 8s to like a bunch of people. Like the Department of Defense has like multiple 8s that they don't use. And there's only 256 of those in the entire internet. The like 17 is owned entirely by Apple. So they gave out tons of these, and then they started harboring back and giving ISPs a 16, which there still isn't that many of those. Like for instance, Jim Watkins, who got into technology as like a pornographer, he hosted Japanese porn out of Las Vegas in the 1990s, and that's how he got his start. That's how he eventually took over 2 Channel from the Japanese. He has an entire 16, which is worth like over $1 million these days, because it's I want to say it's like $3 per. It's like $10,000 for a 24. So you have to keep in mind that a 16 has 256 of those. So it's a $2.5 million, right? Is that, yeah, $2.5 million for a 16, and then you times that again by 256. And Apple owns $655 million worth of IP addresses just in IP alone. So, and that's because they've run out. So IPv6 came out like decades ago, but the thing about IPv6 is that it's really ugly. First of all, it uses hex, and it looks like this. And there's geez, I want to say 8 of these octets like this. And then they're not written the same way. So this is like, that is one way. But then if you have 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, or 1, that is the same as writing this. So like, people hate IPv6 because it's just way messier to write. There's so many numbers, but it's abundant. So it's easy to get IPv6, and they run out of IPv4s. Also, you can, for instance, let's just say, theoretically speaking, as a gamer, just as between us gamers, let's say that you were giving a 32. This is what a 32 looks like in IPv6, and you have access. You can assign all those IPs which you want. Now you could do this. You do something like this. Like, so, this is pretty common. You know, you want to say, how about dead beef? That's pretty funny. You can write a couple words, like how about head? Wait, no, you can't write head. You can't write dead though. What about an IP address like this? You know, that is completely legitimate in IPv6 space. Just saying. And you could use that and piss people off. Just a thought experiment. Now you never want to do that if you already have issues finding hosting, because I think if your network provider looks at your IP address and sees that you're using 1488.41 dead, and maybe actually for extra you could just put 101 there as LOL to indicate that not only are 41 dead, but you find that funny. If they saw that, then maybe you would be in trouble, and they would probably not peer you anyways. But that is something that you could do. So there are some advantages to IPv6 is what I'm saying here. It converts to binary. So that's the plan, and there's no issue with me saying that because it's going to be public anyways. That's how the internet works. People keep saying, why don't you keep things secret? Why don't you say less? Because, my friend, you go to DNS, you type in AAA record for kiwifarms.net, and then you see that they're using 1488.41 dead LOL as their IP address. Well, then you can just look that up and see what they're doing. But you will need, probably, if we're going to go this route, you're going to need IPv6 access. And there are 2 ways of doing that if you don't have it natively. If you're on a mobile phone, congratulations, you have IPv6. If you're on any modern network ever, congratulations, you already have IPv6. If you live in Tajikistan and you are on a computer that's a network that hasn't been touched since the Soviet Union days, you'll probably need support for IPv6. And there are 2 ways of going about this. You can get a VPN that supports IPv6, like Molvad or IVPN, or you can use Tor. This is the interesting thing, and I will actually draw this, right? So here's a fun little doodad that is in my consideration, okay? So we have this, right? So as I mentioned, we're not on the internet. We'll say that we have the Kiwi Farms right here. I'll make it green so you know what it is. Say KF right here. Make it big. This is the KF. You desperately want to get to the Kiwi Farms because this is how you sneed. This is how you sneed. You want to get to it. Then you have all these boxes, right? So this is the big internet. And you don't have access to this. Now we have these servers right here. Let's say that these two are based and connected to the Kiwi Farms. And these two are not. They can't connect to us for whatever reason, right? And then I'll put you over here. There'll be a circle, a rounded thingy. You want to connect to the Kiwi Farms. And unfortunately, this is your IP. And you can't sneed because you're connected to shitty IP. So there are two ways to go about this. You could connect theoretically. Let's say that there's a VPN server like in Amsterdam in Netherlands that works just fine. So option A is that you can connect to the VPN, which can connect to the server that connects to the Kiwi Farms. The alternative way to do this is that you have Tor, right? I'll draw another box. And Tor is actually made up of many different contributing nodes that are all hosted all over the world on IPv4 and IPv6 and both. And you're thinking like, and we'll say that this, about half of them can access the Kiwi, or no, actually they would connect to an intermediate IP. So these two can connect, and then these ones can't. They're on the shitty ones, right? They're on the shitty ones that can't sneed. And you want to connect still somehow. As it turns out, if you connect to Tor, it is smart enough to understand that the ones on these cannot connect, but these can. And it will magically route you, right? We're gonna make this a bendy one to emphasize that this is magic. It's gonna be smart enough to know that. Wait, that's not a magical bendy enough line. I'll make this like this, and then make this right this. There, that's magical. It's smart enough to understand that you can connect to that one. So, what I'm saying is, once it's up, if it's up anywhere in the world, if you want to access it and you don't have a VPN or you don't have direct access through your ISP, if you just go to open a Tor browser and go to kiwifarms.net, the Tor routing system will actually be able to connect to you regardless of how well propagated through the internet I actually am. So to clarify, once again, once we're up and I am fighting the hard battle of trying to stay up on the internet without, while having to deal with insane churn, you have two options. VPN plus good exit point or to Tor. Either through ClearNet or .onion. .onion is safer, but you can do it on the ClearNet. I will try to keep support for Tor up as much as I can. And those are your options. At least until we're up everywhere, which I hope to be eventually. So, very fascinating. These are the struggles we are presented when infrastructure is allowed to censor. And at this point, I find it inevitable that lawfare can be avoided. Would it be a good plan to buy IPv6 up as a speculative commodity so that you can come to next-gen Muckins? Number one, no. If you try to do that, they will just take your IP addresses because technically they're leased from the RIR and you don't actually own them. The auctioning of IP addresses is just something that they tolerate. But if you try to like speculatively buy up IPs and not use them, they'll kick your ass. Number two, there are more IPv6 addresses than there are atoms in the universe, I think, is how big that number is. So you'd have to buy a lot of IPs, or a lot of networks even, to try and exhaust the IPv6 supply. So good luck with that. No, it sounds unlikely, but it's 16 to the power of 128. So if you want to crunch that number real quick, go to Google, or go to, let's see, let's do Chat GPT. Let me say, oh sorry, and then change your VPN to one that isn't blocked. I found the ones in Germany work. Then say, what is, wait, how many IPv6 32s are there? The total number of IPv6 32s is 2 to the power of 96, which is approximately 79.2 undecillion, which is a lot. So, as I was saying, if you try to buy up IPv6 addresses to exhaust the pool, you're going to have a really, really hard time because there's actually a lot of them. So, numbers aren't real. True. What was I saying? Okay, so yes, true and issues. I find at this point in time that it will probably go to the courts. And I think Liz Fong Jones even wants to come to the U.S. to try and sue. Now, I don't want to say much, but that would be a really bad idea. I will immediately counter sue. I'm actually, yeah, I'm just letting you know. Just letting you know. I would kind of welcome that. I would like it to be settled in case law. Does a website have a right to exist? In fact, I might sue somebody who's not Liz Fong Jones at this point because I have a theory. I have a legal theory. Total retard war. That's right. It's getting there. I have a theory that I'm going to test. I'm expecting one of these plans to not work. I'm expecting one of the providers to back out. And I want them to. Because I have a theory. And I want to put it to the test. And if my theory is correct, it would be really, really cool. It would be really, really cool. And our problems would be solved. At least for now. Things could always change. But I have a thought. I don't want to say too much because it's purely in the realm of lawfare at this point. Should I get into the hosting to have a monopoly on free speech hosting now that Vanwa Tech, or is that too much of a pain? My dude, there's a reason why Vanwa shut down. I don't know how to put it to you, but you would not be able to secure the resources that you need. Let me put it like this. I don't know how much money you have. Let's say that you have several $1 million. You have several $1 million kicking around, and you want to invest in freedom. So you go to the most heckin' free base state you can think of. I will not say which state because you will all disagree with me regardless of my answer. But you go to the most heckin' cool, awesome, red pill based, ultra founding fathers amendment, First Amendment pilled state in the Union. Unbeatable freedom. And you build your own data center. You build a facility that has state-of-the-art redundant power in a natural disaster-free area of the United States with renewable energy. Put a big-ass fucking windmill on that's bad boy. You can't even be disconnected from the power grid, no matter what. You got this shit on lock, right? You still have to get fiber optic routed to your data center, and that is expensive. Especially if you're going to build in some middle of nowhere state. Your options for who you are going to build fiber optics for is very limited in certain areas. And that's very expensive regardless. So you spend thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars just to get your shit connected to the internet. Well, you're going to have a couple of ISPs that you peer with. And if they find out like, oh, this data center is like only connected to neo-Nazi websites, heckin' evil, trans person murdering websites, then they'll just cut you off. Like, you're the idiot that spent money on the fiber optics. They don't lose anything. Like, they have your monthly investment has to be very, very high, and unless you have a clientele that exists, and that's why I said, and I wrote out that if you might be able to access this if you do go to Tor and you just type in kiwifarms.net right now. You might be able to get the page. Let me just test this just to make sure. I think it should work though. You should be able to get a page that explains that I believe that sites like Rumble and Gab and Odyssey should work together to secure a data center and set up base there for the sake of preserving freedom of speech. And yes, it does work. You just go to Tor and you type in Kiwi Forums at night, you'll get a page explaining some the issues with the site. And then at the bottom, join or die, I explain what I believe is the path forward. But you, like I said, you would need the clients at that data center, and you would need enough financial pull with whatever ISPs you get peering to you to make it worth their time to ignore belligerent, crazy trannies. And that's a lot of money. That's a lot of forethought. So yeah, I mean, that's like, I don't know. I don't presume that there's like a rogue investor who's going to drop money for the sake of founding a data center. But it would be nice. And I think about it, it's like, oh, someone said, what about Elon Musk? Maybe Elon Musk will save you. Well, I'll have you know, Elon Musk is is nominating a woman for CEO of Twitter. And apparently that's not too based and red-pilled. So sorry, Elon Chuds. Looks like women win again. Oh yeah, from the WEF, nonetheless. Not just a woman, but like a globo homo woman. Can you believe it? I don't know. It's very frustrating. It's frustrating. Like I know I don't sound mad. And the funny thing is, I'm not even mad at like the right people. Like, you would expect me to be like, well, I'm mad at the Troons, but the Troons are just animals. You know what I mean? The Troons are like creatures of habit. They're just dumb animals, and they act violently because they're mentally ill, porn addicted, low IQ, kind of barbaric and senseless. And they do what they do because that's just their nature. And I don't really hold that against them, but I understand that I don't want to live around them or have anything to do with them. I'm angrier at the providers because in my years of dealing with this, I have looked at so many countries. I've spoken to lawyers. I've spent money, like good money, consulting lawyers in like a dozen different countries. I've spoken to people in Russia and Ukraine, in a bunch of different places, in Liechtenstein, and I like in Suriname. I looked everywhere for a country that can do better than the United States in hosting stuff that's offensive. And the reality is that the United States is so obviously heads and tails a better place to host free and online discussion. But the issue then is that the nobody cares about Stormfront. That's how it says it. The issue is that the people running the networks in the United States are like cowards. The average American wants today to be like yesterday, and they want tomorrow to be like today, and not a single one of them is prepared to be uncomfortable for the sake of preserving anything. They just want to grind out 60 years until retirement and get out. And I can't even really be fully upset because I can understand not wanting your shit fucked up because of some retard that you don't have anything to do with. You know what I mean? But on the other hand, it's like at some point, surely there has to be a realization by some people who are in power or who are in the positions of power to be like, wait a second, these are literally rapists. These are like gross sex pests who openly talk about like their sex offenses on Twitter, and they're only trying to like cover the shit up. It's not like people complain about like the doxing and the racism and the anti-Semitism that's found on some boards on the forum, and literally none of that is the issue. The issue is that there's a bunch of gross freak trannies that want to cover up how much of a gross freak they are, and they're willing to do literally anything to accomplish that, and people just give them what they want constantly. And I just find that so disgusting. It literally fills me with contempt and hatred, not even for the trannies, because like I said, they're just beasts. They're doing what they are doing for self-preservation of their, of their comfort and their way of life, which is a degenerate way of life I do not approve of and do not want to be around. But the people who are in the positions of power to say yes or no to things, they're the ones who are contemptuous. It's like, it's one thing, I don't even know if there's like a parable or like a Aesop fable that has a moral of a story like this, but it's like one thing to be a crazed beast. It's another thing to be a coward and to give crazed beasts what they want just because they are like sending you emails and calling you and shit.
It is too far away.
What are you going to do? I'm gonna continue to find new hosts forever if I have to. I can keep doing this forever. Liz Fung Jones is trying very hard to make it so that I cannot continue to do what I'm doing right now to keep the site up forever, but I can, and I will. Don't you worry, I'll keep doing it. I'll keep doing it forever. You can't stop me because I'm not breaking any laws. I can literally keep doing this forever, and as he becomes more desperate and violent, he'll slip up one day, and that shit's gonna bite him in the ass, just like he did with Vordrak. There's a reason why Vordrak doesn't get talked about anymore. It's because he fucked up, and the police came knocking, and ever since then he's been pretty chill. He's still an asshole every so often, but he's nowhere near as aggressive.
Need more rain.
Yes, 4chan is only... God, the Sue keeps sending me messages, like, copy-paste them. Yes, 4chan is completely compromised. That is why it stays up. Surprised that literally nobody. They keep your IP on forever. I'm sure they track your fucking passes and stuff. If you say anything they don't like, you get arrested the next day. It happened like twice in a row where people kept threatening that sheriff. And then surprise, they're arrested. Surprise, VPNs are banned. Duh. They banned doxing and shit too. Like they banned, if you even mention Isabel Yanka on 4chan, you get banned. If you mention that Isabel Yanka's father works directly with Cloudflare as a consultant, you get banned for doxing or raiding or whatever the fuck. Just completely compromised. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep doing, because like I said, I can do this forever. The way that I have it set up, I can literally keep doing this forever. It's unfortunate that the site is completely down just because of the hardware issue, but that will be resolved in due time, and then I can tell people that it's back up. I would suggest going on Telegram. Apparently, I know a lot of people don't like the Telegram. There is a way to view the Telegram without having Telegram. If you go to t.me/KiwiFarms, if you try to go to preview channel, it won't let you because it's been hard disabled. And for whatever reason, it's been like hard disabled by the Telegram. But there's a link to this very suspicious looking website that does Telegram RSS feeds for non-public channels, and you can just use that in an RSS feed thing and watch for updates. I would use literally anything else as like a way of getting announcements out there, but I don't have a Twitter account. Elon Musk refuses to unban it. The Fediverse goes down and the site goes down, so I can't use that. Post is accusing me. Graph is like a fucking schizo who accuses everyone he doesn't like of being a pedophile, regardless of how ironic that is for him. And it's just a mess. Poll is the only good board. Poll TV and V are the only good boards. Those are like the worst boards. You just outed yourself as someone who's like a chronic masturbator. If you go to any of those boards, it's like, hey, Poll is like pictures of interracial relationships. BBC cuck master race. You go to TV, it's like a picture of an 8-year-old girl from some movie. What would you do to her, TV? You go to V, literally nothing but porn. Just Rule 34 of every video game character ever. Like, fuck off.
I can't carry anymore.
Completely exposed. V is the worst board. V was like the worst board on 4chan and 8chan. Like dealing with the people on V, it was just impossible. Oh well. I want to say something that is an important message. Let me think about this for a second. The content of my stream changed, and I want to talk about something. I've noticed that there's like a trend of independently wealthy people on like YouTube and shit who have like this income, this good income coming in from what they do, but they're like afraid to move out of their parents' house. I found that very weird. June is one of them. Like, June still is like 30 plus, and she still lives with her parents, and all her money from being like successful on YouTube just goes to nowhere. She just stays in her mom's house. And I don't know what this is. There are others, but it's strange to me. And I wonder why that could be. I wondered why someone in that position who is independent enough that they could definitely move out if they wanted to, and who has the money to move out, would just choose to stay and live with their parents. When it's like you're stunting your development, like mentally, and your progress into life by doing so, by being so dependent on your own parents. And I wonder if like it's like people feel like there's a debt owed. Like I can't leave my mom at the house. I have to stay and take care of her for whatever reason. And that's like totally the wrong opinion, the wrong way of thinking. And in fact, if you think that, there's probably a good chance that your mom is like abusing you. You know what I mean? Like if June's mom makes her think like, oh, pumpkin, sweetiekins, you can't leave the house, because if you leave the house, I'll be ever so lonely. Like that. If that kind of thing is being said, that's like you're being manipulated, and you need to get the fuck out like immediately. You know what I mean? I don't know why I'm even thinking about this. Someone mentioned something to me, and I'm like, that's kind of fucked up. It's such a narrow audience, though, like of people who would find this information. Like usually, if you're living with your mom, you're like a loser to begin with. But if you're one of these people who, for whatever reason, are like well into your adulthood, like in your 20s, and you have enough money to move out, and for whatever reason you refuse to move out because you're either like afraid or mommy is guilt tripping you, you got to get the fuck out of there. How are you going to progress? How are you going to do anything? If you're at home, like you can't bring home dates to your mom's house. You can't get married at your mom's house. You're gonna have to move out eventually if you want to like not be a complete fuck up. Yeah, it's not like a multi-generational home like in Mexico or the Philippines. It's like I have emotional issues and I can't make my own nest type thing. So yeah, I don't know if you find this information applicable to you, if you find this circumstance applicable to you, you live at home and you have money to move out, and for whatever reason you're afraid to, or feel like you should because mom needs you, get the fuck out. Very strange tangent, I know, but I thought of it for some reason. Josh coping that other families love each other. Ain't no love in being forced to stay at home instead of moving out and being your own man. Or woman, I guess, in June's case. Don't be like June. Don't be like June is what I'm saying. For the love of fucking God, don't let yourself be like June. Look at her. She's been on Twitter saying, I love men. I want to be a whore slave. I want to be chained to the bed and force impregnated by my warlord husband who conquered and stole me from my hometown and now has me as his concubine servant. I would sure love to be a mother and a wife, even if I have other sister wives. And then she's still single at 31. She's still lived with her parents despite having the money to move out. Despite that kind of capitulation, utter and total capitulation to the male species, she has not acquired anything that she's asking for. So I'm saying, I'm begging you with tears in my eyes, independently wealthy people who can get the fuck out of their mother's house but refuse not to for whatever reason. Do not be like June. I beg of you, I beseech you. Find it within your heart. You know I am right. I'm not moving June out. Fuck off. I told you guys this on the June stream. Blacked. Don't. I'm sorry. You know, you can put up like a little roster and say like, well, sure, she's bald. That's negative 10 points, but she wants to be a trad life. That's at least 15 points. She's about like a 5 out of 10. So we're not going to add or remove points from that side. Oh, black, negative 100. Blacked, 0. Sorry. Hate to be the bearer of bad news. Hate to be the one to say it to you, but shit, man. I'm just keeping it real, shit, man. It's how being shit, man. With cotton cap and motherfucking Bixby. Gross. You guys are stupid. Is there anything else worth talking about? Is there anything about the forum that you guys would want to know more about, or like my plan? I can kill some time, I guess, just a little bit. Oh, gotta even mention this about Chantal. So I'm gonna can I do this on the fly, just real quick? Something about Chantal. I don't think I'll be able to. I'll try really fast, and then if I can't figure it out, I'll just give up. But for the sake of humor and edutainment, I will try to find this. Okay. So while Feudy Beauty has been in Kuwait, and people have been calling her a pet murderer, she decided to prove to the world that she is not a pet murderer by getting a hamster.
Inventory is full.
And now that she's like smoking constantly, people are calling her like a bad hamster mom or something. And I am desperately going to try to find something to show you this. She deletes her live streams constantly, though. And that's sort of the issue. If I can't find images of the hamster to show you, then I'll just have to spoil it. I am desperately trying to find the video that I'm thinking of. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. I've noticed this in her videos. She murdered her hamster. Chantal murdered her hamster. I'm just gonna say it. His name is Howie, I think. And after she brought this hamster in, and then wait, no, I do. Aha. Okay, listen. I can prove this. I'm gonna show you right now. Okay, this is Howie 1 right here. You see him? Let me blow him up really big so you can see him. It might eclipse everything on the screen, but it doesn't matter. We have to do this. And then this is Howie 2. Okay. I'm gonna try to get them right next to each other. So she bought Howie 1 a long time ago, and then she kept gushing about this fucking hamster, saying, oh, he's the greatest, cutest ham ever. And then he disappeared for weeks and weeks, and then suddenly she comes back and says, all of these fucking idiot A-logs, they said that my hamster said they're not dead, idiots. Here's my hamster right here. And you can clearly see that is not the same hamster. That is an imposter hamster. The ears are completely fucking different. Howie 1 had pointy ears. The blotch in the middle of his head was like way different. The nose looks completely different. He has more dark hair throughout his face. The black under the eyes. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, she murdered her hamster and has replaced it with another one. And she's just pretending. She's doing a weekend at Bernie's and just pretending that this hamster is the same hamster. It's not. I'm telling you for real. He's just old. No, dude. He's not been alive for 2 years at this point. And he's not graying. It would make sense if his hair was graying out. It's getting darker. Does the hamster get darker? No. Do the ears become cut in like clover pattern instead of like pointy like a horse ear? No. They only live like 2 years. Dude, I am telling you, that is not an aged hamster. That is an imposter hamster. If this hamster was walking around in a space station, I would have to jettison it into the vacuum of space. It's sus, is what I'm saying. Yeah, that is a young new hamster that has kind of sort of the same patterns. The ears, how can you look at the ears and say they're the same fucking animal? Unless she took scissors to it. But even if she took scissors to it, the one on the new hamster has big rounded ears. Even if you were so fucking cruel that you were gonna take scalpels to this hamster's ears to try and make it look like the one on the right, it would not be rounded in that way. You could not physically make that hamster look like the other hamster. It is not the same hamster. Chantal has murdered her hamster and has replaced it with this sus imposter because she has smoked it to death in her hot box of doom in Kuwait. A poll. Okay. I'll have a poll. But just so you know, if you vote, you're a faggot. Which is this a sus imposter hamster?
I need more rage.
Okay. The vote is coming in. We got one vote for yes. We have 300 confirmed homosexuals. 81% of the vote believes that this is a sus imposter hamster. It is slowly dropping down to 78%, and almost 600 homosexuals reporting in. Someone just super chatted to say ack. Poor Howie won. I probably do not vote base and red pill. Okay. So with 800 homosexuals, 80% of people do agree that is a fucking fake hamster, and I don't know who she thinks she's fooling, but it ain't me. It ain't me, Chantal. All right, now for real. Anything to touch on other than my schizophrenic episode, and my schizo theory has been confirmed. A fake hamster. Now what? Meds? No. You said that you might release a little guide for what you learn in the Kiwi Farms. Planted. If I ever have time, I might.
I can't carry anymore.
Oh, okay. Small update in the Patrick Tomlinson universe. Patrick's avatar that he was using on Twitter, where he's like touching his forehead, that was like his professional like stock image, like his author portrait that he was using with a publishing company. The publishing company owned the rights to that image, so a stalker child bought the rights to Patrick Tomlinson's professional headshot and filed a DMCA with Twitter over Patrick Tomlinson's own face that he was using as his Twitter profile picture, and he's had to change it after years, which is a very roundabout way of fucking with Patrick, but it's pretty funny. Pure Kino. It's pretty funny. It's pretty great. Anything else? Okay, I get it. A guy did a video about Patrick Tomlinson. That's really funny, dude. Come on. I really wish people wouldn't spam. All I ask. The Boogie fight. Oh, what's his face? Wings of Redemption and Boogie have met up in real life to Here, I'll play the video of someone linked me to this. This is the Starbucks video. Someone linked me to the New York Post thing that I was trying to show on screen, and it doesn't actually help me at all. Okay, here. This is by Ollie London. This one should work. I'll play this real quick. Assuming that it wants to load it all. Okay, it is slowly working on loading.
Absolutely not. Don't ever call me transphobic. Ever. You do not know me.
You're being transphobic, Karen. Now get out.
Call me transphobic.
You are transphobic. Now get out. You're not having one doing all the things. Hi, get out. You are trespassing now.
They've got cameras.
You are trespassing. Get out. Get out. You are trespassing.
apparently we said something transphobic.
You actually, you bastard.
Give me the phone. You want something? Give me the phone. Let go of me. Give me the phone. I've got plenty of witnesses. Give me the phone. I said, let go of me. Give me the phone. Just go for the piece and get out.
Absolutely not. Don't ever call me transphobic. Ever. You do not know me.
You're being
ever.
Sorry, it rolled over. I ran to the bathroom real quick. Gotcha. I peed. Now I can do the super chats without having to pause the stream to go pee. Okay. Boom, bada ping. Where is the green at? Okay. Alright, lads. Boys and girls. If I can just figure out if one thing can go right for me, we get through this. Fish Tank, dude, I have not been watching Fish Tank. And without the site being up, I have no idea what's been going on. Sorry. Sorry, Charlie. Oh, there's one special request that I got that I'll just throw on for fun before I do the super chat thing. Jeff Bezos is dating Blair White. I don't know how this happened. I really don't know, but it's shocking to see. Because I always thought Blair White was already married, but it's really shocking to see that he's with Elon Musk. Chat's going crazy. In case you're wondering, that is a real woman. That is not Blair White. And if you want to know why she looks like that, it's because every person who goes to LA for plastic surgery gets the exact same face. Every single person, man or woman, who goes in and gets LA plastic surgery looks the fucking same. So if you want to know why Blair White passes so well, according to poll, it is because Blair White went to LA and told the Jewish man with the scalpel, "Give me the usual," and that's why. That's why they look the same. But it took me. I was legit convinced that was Blair White at first. I had to go look through it. All right, now the money zone. Let's see what we got. Hopefully these ones don't suck. We'll see. Anonymous for 2 says, "Hi, I am King Chevrolet McDonald's of the United States of America. I have 200 silver bars, but IRS is lacking me access. If you would send silver coins to stop IRS, I would send my silver bars as NFTs on the blockchain. Just email me silver coin and passwords." Very bizarre. I don't think you're gonna get any silver coins like that, my dude. Reminds me of the John from Texas Oblast post. "Hi, I'm King Chevrolet, the United States." Loopy for 3 says, "I just want to hear you say big chungus in your American accent. Big ups and much love from Australia, KF forever." Americans don't have accents, and first of all, I don't have an accent. Okay, Americans don't have accents either, besides in the South. And big chungus, I suppose. Jim DNA for 2 says, "I'm beginning to lose faith, not because Elliot keeps raiding to get the site shut down, but because Donation Alerts has a furry mascot. Are you a fur fag? I suggest you switch to Power Chat, the heterosexual alternative co-owned by my good friend Timothy." They do have a little tiger. They're Russians. There is no such thing as a furry Russian, so don't worry about it. Anonymous for 11 says, "Hi Josh, I finally know where the white ethno state will be established. We'll just piggyback off the white hippies and wine moms in order to declare our Zion. Also have a good day, and can we get an ack in the chat?" There is a YouTube video.
She is white.
Hi.
He is white. And they are white. This is the whitest village in all of Asia. This is Bali.
That's funny. There's like a little white ethno state in the middle of Bali. And all the libertarians have gone there. to be free and unmolested. Crack Pipe Cowboy for 20 says, good evening, Josh. What happened with Turkey Tom? Why is the Zoomer brain so melted? Or is Gen Z just whipped? Keep up the good fight. This one's a bit quieter, but it's a good somber one to start the stream. Okay. Oh, this is a song. I don't know. I haven't seen what Turkey Tom has done, so I can't really comment. The song, by the way, that he tipped for is "We Bow Down Before Your Cross," the Orthodox Singers. Oh, he must with this. Okay. I don't know what's wrong with Turkey Tom. He's just young. Give him time, and bully him when he acts a fool. Keep him on the straight and narrow. Quifla Shaniqua Triniqua for 20 says, sorry this week has been such a trial for you. Godspeed. It has been very difficult, but you just deal with it as it comes. Thank you. Anonymous for 10 says, hi George, I don't know if you remember a couple of weeks ago I told you to check out Turtle Boy Sports. Ricada had him on the other night. Did you happen to watch any of it? No. Sorry. I don't even remember anything mentioning Turtle Boy Sports. I apologize. I haven't had really time to do anything last week. Thank you though. Whimsy for 25 says, I can't watch live but want to chip in a little support for the new servers and general anti-fuckery fun. Also, any recs for learning about economic causes of World War II that aren't map games. Thanks for everything. Thumbs up emoji and porcupine emoji. The history of central banking by, I think Gottfried is his name, is probably a very concise explanation that you would enjoy if you're looking for that. And I have to remind people that I cannot put like super chat money towards like server expenses. That's strictly for crypto. It keeps the site up. But super chats do help me, which offsets expenses in that way. In the same way that Planned Parenthood accepts donations to provide abortions but doesn't put any government funds towards abortions. That's how you get around these things. Nick for 5 says, shout out to my favorite goat lady, Josh. Can you say I love pop-up books, especially ones about foxes and trench coats? I have no fucking idea what that means, but there you go. I hope you enjoy. Haramburger for 2 says, tried Telegram this week. Voice chat was fun, but half these neighbors aren't even forum users. Exhausted with Naya tranny shit stirring. I can't give them pink trials help. Shout out to Rex Novus and Eric Real Neighbors. Bala. Yeah, Naya's in there trying to get attention. I think I banned them because they're annoying and stupid. But yeah, the Telegram is like its own thing. It's not really a replacement for the forums. It's just a place to chat. Just stay for the updates. That's my only suggestion. Second page is taking forever to load. Turn it down just a little bit. Chill out. I try to have a compressor on so that... Oh, my VPN died. Okay, that's why it doesn't load. Does this want to load? Okay. I really hate computers. Every day I hate computers more. There we go. Nothing for 2 says nothing. Thank you, nothing. Anonymous for 10 says, is the new server already over? No, it should be coming in today. Hopefully it's not over. Well, it might be over where the servers are over. Let's see where it's over at right now. Delivered! Hey, it's delivered! Boy, oh boy, I can't wait to get my server online again. And the downtime will finally be over. Your mom for 20 says, clean your room, Josh. My room is sparkling clean. Thank you. Eat dirt, drink bleach for 20 says, clean. Apparently the whole fish thing is a foreign thing. I have no fucking idea what this is. References. This is like a meme video about people boiling a bag full of water? Like this Asian woman is somehow boiling water? I really love the shorts format. How you can't fucking scan the video. What an ingenious idea. really is just an amazing idea. Let's have it so that this video has less functionality than the videos you're used to. Just amazing. Crispy Legs for 11 says, we'll have to watch this one late, but you got this, king. Have a good one. Heart emoji. I mean, I can get the site back up for sure. It's a question in the long term of like if surely, I mean, eventually there has to be one solution. I have an idea. I have an idea. Sanctus Ordo Megumenus Grazide. In the Matrix room, the Magumen faction is in high esteem, especially by Crunklord and Froggy. To confirm our claims and enact our humble demands, all you have to do is sign this document. And then he links me a cat box image. It appears to be that someone has on actual, like, old style cotton parchment made a old English style contract with handwritten quill ink asking me to do something in the name of Megaman from the anime. It says Megaman and Caves Agris as I can't read this. Nos Joshua 1, and then it's in Latin. And I do not speak or read Latin, so I cannot decipher this document for you, but it's a very interesting piece of artwork. I actually like the little Huey regalia. I'll unfilter it so we can see the regalia. That is quite nice. Can I do the background? Here, let's just do this. Copy. Background filters. Paste. Green. Hey! Hey, there we go. Perfect. I guess I should have done that probably weeks ago, but whatever. That works. Anonymous for 2 says, the Virgin Swedish Thought Police versus the Chad VPN company that doesn't store user info. I know. If only we had more Chads who were actually not complete retards. That would be really nice. People who actually did their jobs instead of just cuckolding to everyone who raised a stink. Tipbot get reference locale for 2 says, hello username, here's a small amount of the American currency and my small animal just died of illness and I am negative emotion. Could you please give me advice on an impossibly complex issue streamer has no background in? Return true. I can. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. David S877 for 25 says, say you were suing a person of unusual gender and you were testifying. The court asked you his fake name and pronouns. Would you just say the defendant or something else? I would definitely, if I was forced into a court and I was forced to use like proper pronouns or legal name, I would just use like their legal name like incessantly. Like if I was talking, like for instance, if Donald Trump was the defendant, instead of saying like Donald Trump she, I would just say Donald Trump did this, Donald Trump did this, Donald Trump did this, and Donald Trump did not feel very good about that. You know, just over and over again. They can't, what are they going to do? Say that not to speak English that way? Fuck off. Wallace Breen for 437 says, tell me, Josh, if you can, you have destroyed so much. What is it exactly you have created? Can you not name even one thing? I thought not. It's true, I have destroyed a lot. If the internet collapses, it'll be my fault. You'll have to blame me. Cherry for 10 says, and that's a reference to a video game, by the way. Cherry for 10 says, forums, felted, Fediverse, defederated, sneed chat, can't sneed, Matrix and Telegram chads, stay winning. That's right. Huddle up on that centralized service for warmth and comfort. You will be monitored, but very unintrusively, and you will enjoy it. Tommy Tudor's Twisted Armhole for 2 says, hello Noel, here's $2 United States dollars. My cat died of pneumonia and I am morose. Do I pursue a PhD in chemical engineering, and if so, do I write my dissertation on flow batteries or electrocatalysis? You should complete, sorry to hear about your cat, and you should complete the works of the great Serbian Nikola Tesla and find a way to give everyone free energy forever, as he would have intended. Kindle Motor Oil for 2 says, tell Dad to give me his address so I can send him Heinz beans and Tuhu merch from AliExpress. You ask him yourself. I don't even know who the fuck you're talking about. The old Discord user? Let's All Love Lane for 2 says, my anime list got hacked. All anime titled were replaced with Let's All Love Lane. That's funny. Huh. That's funny. It's probably a Troon that did it, you know. Sent me a link to the notice explaining what the guy had. Eat dirt, drink bleach for 2 says M front hole. Gross. I think he even calls it his front hole. I don't think he calls it a vagina. The salamander is really gross. I wouldn't doubt that. Racist guy with Down syndrome for 4 says, check out British Columbia's flag. There's a link to the flag of British Columbia. It is atrocious. I will put this on the screen so that everybody else can enjoy the flag of British Columbia. Assuming I don't fuck it up somehow, which I had just done. Pretty fucking horrendous. Romberger for 2 says, archive.is website isn't working. What's wrong? Did you take ownership of that site too? Boom, got him, bazinga. You have to change your VPN. He blocks a lot of VPNs. King and Green for 2185 says, oh, where are you now when we need you? What joy is in the feeds that can't sneed? Are you gone like the horse of the pillhead? And will our kiwis grow free? There's a link to a video.
Where are you now when we need you? What burns where the flame used to be?
This is a reference to the user Wolf Tone, who is a person of interest on the forum that everyone likes bullying. I think that's what he's referencing, at least. The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind Game of the Year edition for 2 says, hello Jersh, thank you for everything you do. Quick question, how much do we have to donate to get you to watch Kay's cooking on stream again? Keep up the good work. Let's kill those animals. P.S. Sneed. I don't know. I don't like supporting Kay because she's a gross British person who abuses the DMCA. So, I don't know. I'm not particularly interested. Sorry. Doom Guy for 246 for 2, not for 246 says, high-end cheese is not just cheese. Not all cheeses are the same. Cheese is not mere cheese unless it's cheddar. Isn't cheddar like high-grade Swiss cheese that's like region-controlled by the EU and tested for holiness to the point where they like re-added sawdust to cheese to give it holes and shit? Are you telling me that doesn't count as cheese? Seems kind of snobby, if you ask me. Swiss cheese is an American product. Oh, English sharp cheddar. Okay, yeah. The UK should not enjoy any EU region protections because they're not in the EU. Anybody in Croatia should be able to make English cheddar and sell it because they backed out, the cowards. Anime for 5 says, I wish I was your retainer and milk brother like Koromitsu, my favorite character in the Tale of Genji in anime. I suppose all Amerisharts share a wet nurse in the Gerber Corporation. In another life, I could have been your samurai. How do animes talk about their shows without feeling secondhand embarrassment for how stupid it sounds? Anonymous for 2 says, in the past 10 years, gays and lesbians were the primary target of hate, but trannies pulled up recently and they're such disgusting parasites. Now gay and lesbians are defended even by previous homophobes. I mean, at least with especially with gay women, you kind of feel bad for them. I mean, gay men have always been attacked because there's so many of them that are pedophiles. But trannies are just like dangerous to everyone. There's nobody who's not in danger around a tranny. And the only people who think otherwise haven't met one or been around one long enough. Echo for 10 says, please like and share my neighbor practical solutions. Then he links to archive.org/details/ghostwolf.
The reason was, and I could be wrong on that, and if, you know, to continue with tactics that have failed.
This is like a weird podcast going back to 2009. If you would like to listen to this, that's archive.org/details/ghostwolf. One word. There you go, boy. There's your shout out. Texas T for 20 says, "Hey Josh, longtime fan and watcher. Haven't been able to catch you live in a while, but here, take some of my change to keep the good fight. YouTube link, small clip to sum up my feelings of the past week." That's very good. Oh, is this the Emperor? Oh. Okay, fine, I'll play this.
And I must say that almost everything I've witnessed has been cringe.
Logo, what have you done?
It was not keck. It was cringe, father.
Fucking cut it out.
Cringe-based cringe crap.
Dude, there's something wrong. The 40K is like an anime. I'm just gonna say it. 40K is basically just an anime with like toys that you can buy. I mean, they have like figurines for anime too. It's the same fucking thing. What's the belief? Thank you, though. What's the belief for Fox says, sorry, some furry is crowdfunding a defamation lawsuit for a Twitter account that trolls truths and spreading fake screenshots of him grooming children to his dad. Will he win? If someone is actively manipulating screenshots to make him look like a child predator when he isn't one, yeah, that is, like, obviously defamation. I would, like, if you posted that on the Kiwi Farms, you would be banned. If he asked me to, like, if he proved that, like, the screenshots were fake, I would take them down. Because you can't do that. That's like stupid. Yeah, I mean, if it's legitimate defamation like that, I hope he wins. Fuck him. Shabalob Shabalingo for 2185 says absolutely nothing. Thank you, Shabalob Shabalingo. And an Emperor Lucius alias Aurelius. God, this is gonna be a fucking 40K tweet for $3. Makes me say the end point of it's not okay to oh, it's not about 40K. I'm shocked. The end point of it's not okay to criticize people, whether it's going to be stupid, whether it's for being stupid or incompetent or whatever, is that failure becomes free of consequence for the protected classes. Gee, I wonder how that ends up. Surely it turns out just fine historically. I honestly, I don't even. I mean, it's not like the Troons run the world. I mean, maybe I kind of see what you're implying there, that like once they can, yeah, I kind of see that. Once you like, if you can establish for anyone that it's okay to censor criticism about them, you can apply it to like the people at the top too. That does make sense. Mr. Man for 2185 says, to many Australian Troon voice reminded me of the speedrunning autism event. Hearing many male voices and a few female ones, it took me hours to realize that there was a females only, that it was a females only event. If you're optimistic, you get what you fucking deserve. Yeah. Fuck them. I hope everyone, the thing is, they seem to enjoy being like gross and in your face, you know what I mean? Like a disproportionate amount of them compared to even like to gay people. I hope that I love it. I love it when they get out there and they just act horrendous. You think that like okay, Liz Fong Jones is harassing all these fucking people to get the site taken down. Do you think that they like that doesn't ruminate with them? That there's like a person doing this in the name of like transgender activism? You think that they don't walk away from that hating them? I guarantee you they do. It doesn't matter if they're in the Netherlands or the US or Canada or what. Like, of course. Keep doing it. See what happens. I'm sure that nobody is that people are just going to deal, like, take it lying down forever. It's ridiculous. Striga for 2 says, we should go back to publicly shaming people. We should point fingers at the freaks and laugh. Well, I'm trying my best, bro. Thank you. Catboy Ranch Wrestling for 2 says, gotcha, Pimp. Here's the Twitter source. I think that this is... I don't know what this could be. Maybe the fat people boxing? Oh no, it's the shouting match between the Troon. Sorry, I already played that. Thank you, though. Appreciate it.
Again, thank you for your aid. Please accept this honorarium.
Forgetful Kiwi for 218 says, it's nice to see you are supporting the Writer Guild strike by keeping your website down for all the video essays from drama YouTubers. It's true. You want to replace the Kiwi Farms with ChatGPT? Go fucking try. I dare you. You can't replace me. Nobody else can create competition to the Kiwi Farms. Nobody can replace me with AI. Nobody can replace me with like a legitimate news source. I have a monopoly on this shit. You can't replace me. Your AI refuses to. Okay? Anonymous for 2 says, anytime I see a tranny picture, all I can think of is imagine the smell. I swear to God, every one of them looks like the crustiest motherfucker imaginable. It's called crust punk. That was a term invented by ADF. And yes, they all stink. Even if they shower, which none of them do, they still stink like rotten pussy front hole. We're doomed. For 20 says, the money is fake. The women are fat. I have no idea what that means, but thank you very much. Hopefully the money's not fake. Don't fucking charge back, you cunt. Anonymous for 2 says, are you just looking at and making fun of Troons primarily today to get under Liz Dung John's skin? If so, please keep at it. I want that square brick face loser to mauled forevermore, even if he's successful to take the farms down. You'll never be a woman, Elliot. Stay mad. No, I just make fun of them every day.
I shall set to work on the cloak immediately.
Juniper Titty Grabber for 2 says, have some shekels from your most retarded BP enjoyer. And then, oh, that's his avatar. His avatar is like ASCII of like an ASCII man like touching booba. It's pretty good ASCII, to be honest with you. But he posts in Beauty Parlor. Thank you. Kenny Jones, the snake lover for 30 says, if you just admit you're a feeder, all the issues will go away. You can't deny your true nature. Random lowercase I internet user, lowercase I internet, lowercase I internet, lowercase I internet, all uppercase internet letters. I'm gonna have to find a solution for this game now. Now that you're gonna ruin it for everybody. Thank you though. I love An Kani May for 5 says, just in case my last one fucked up or something and the payment didn't go through, I'll just add a book recommendation. It's called Why Nations Fail: The Origins of Power, Prosperity, and Poverty. There's a ton of warning signs in it for these days. Dude, there's like here's the thing. Nobody wants the US government to live besides the US government. There's so few people who are like actually in support of our current system as it stands. There's no way. It can't last forever. Everyone hates it. Literally everyone is just waiting for the day that they wake up and they find out that there is no federal government, it has been dissolved, and it's now state ran only. And that's what people are looking forward to. Tids Next Door for 2 says, hi Jewish, this person claims to be for T&D, but his methods don't make sense. YouTube.com/T&D streams. By the way, I just finished painting the gate to my driveway. It is big and black, by the way. Did I mention I am 99% Chinese and 1% cheese? No fucking idea what any of that means. The T&D streams is just some soy looking guy talking about music by Anthony Fantano. And the joke is that his username is T&D. Very funny. Thank you. Nailgun Pipe Bomb for 4 says, itty bitty baby itty bitty boat. I have no idea what that means either. Thank you though. Sneed Pony, previously Chalk for 6 says, the real dead dog was the horses we lost along the way. Also, Rip Doggo, he deserved better. He definitely didn't deserve to die alone in his Mexican hovel, abandoned by Ethan Ralph to pretend to act bougie on the coast of Cuba. The Real Cruel Summer, Anonymous for 2 says, the Real Cruel Summer, aka how a drunk pill-headed pig manlet copes. Glad you read through that blog post since the copium is off the charts and once again shows that Gunt refuses to take personal accountability and responsibility. I agree. I think the whole thing is just to bait May into coming back so he can own the A-logs. He doesn't give a fuck. Because honestly, like, why would he care about May at all? He has no reason to care about her whatsoever. Ice Mexican for 10 says, hello, Mr. Potter. Please cover how Aniza is turning Mr. Joma into a little soy boy. Thank you. And then there is a link to Aniza the Greasy, which I assume is a troll account?
Good luck.
Is this like her actual? Oh my god, it's her actual thing is just called Aniza the Greasy now. My favorite thing to cook for me and Iron right now is miso tofu and green beans. Add some chili oil and it's chef's kiss. Ian used to feel like tofu didn't feel substantial enough as a meal replacement, so I went on a mission to solve that. Miso did the trick for anyone wanting a more savory, meaty profile. I also coat it in cornstarch and pop it in the oven for 10 minutes at a time before I pan fry. Poor boy, married to someone greasy, feeding him soy. Sucks to be Ian, except he deserves it. Cantiac for 10 says, the entirety of Ralph's blog post summed up from Broat and Null's favorite video game, Life is Strange. He concludes the video after the quote. Okay.
I gotta blame somebody, otherwise it's all my fault. Fuck that.
That's true. It is like that. It's everybody else, it's her family's fault, it's his dog's fault, it's May's fault. But it's the haters' fault. But not his. Ever. Piano for 10 says, great show, Jersh. Thank you very much. Duodong King Kali Yuga for 527 says, really surprised that Ralph is not a bad writer. Did you fucking read that thing? There's spelling errors like everywhere. He didn't even spell check it before publishing it. And yeah, God, how embarrassing. He reads like he talks. He reads exactly as he speaks. You're supposed to like refine. Like, I don't read how I write, or I don't speak how I write, because I take time to think about what I'm saying usually. Anonymous for 2 says, what is your opinion of the country of Malta? Is it a place you've considered visiting before? No. It's just some shithole island in the middle of the Caribbean. Or not the Caribbean, the other one, the Mediterranean. There's no value there. I mean, it's better than Cyprus, because Cyprus is like mega cucked. It's owned by Turkey. Imagine being Cypro. Cringe. Ruggy for 15 says, hope this helps. Hang in there. Joshy boy, you got this. Thank you. Appreciate it. Michael for 2 says, please fix the site soon. I need to use the fish tank chat so that I don't end up paying Sam $40. Also, JJJ. I don't know what JJJ means. It probably means something about Josie, in which case that's pretty cringe. Thank you. Slight Power Level 4 says, I work with an autistic 5th grader that have better sense of vocabulary, tone, and pacing than Ralph. The blog post even shows some markers of slight dyslexia. This is why he reads aloud all retardedly. I would bet $50 that Ralph has never finished a book. Dude, so many of his sentences are just like improper. They just start, they should be conjugated with commas, but he starts a sentence with but. He fully completes an idea and then says, but that's how it be sometime. And it's like slowing the mind as fuck. Weed R for 8 says, is it better to burn out than to fade away? You could ask Ethan and Ralph. In all seriousness, I admire your technical knowledge and persistence in keeping the lights on. Saying faggot on the lowercase I. Internet should not be so hard, but you are solving the problem. Tax. I'll talk to you too. Inshallah, we will resolve the issue. There's so many plans to try, and over time, like I said, there's nothing that we're doing wrong. We can keep playing the game literally forever. I have a way of getting money that he can't fuck with through crypto. I have a way of keeping the site up through any cast. He can try to fuck with it. There's always going to be a way around it. And until the day that the site does something illegal, he's fucked. Slight Power Level for 2 says, actually, I remember commenting that his 2 diary posts about Medicare were clear demonstrations of severe literary deficiencies. Most Americans are, at best, approaching literacy. I bet Ralph is in the bottom 25% of readers with developmental disorders. Well, one should not throw stones in glass houses, but I agree. Money for 2 says, why doesn't Spy stab people while he's invisible? Is he retarded? He can't. He's looking at his watch the entire time, dude. He can't stab people. Haxlete for 4 says, stream hardcore classic WoW. I never played WoW. I got to level 20 something, I want to say. When it was in its highlight, I got to the big horde city, and you start doing that dungeon that's at the bottom of a pit, and it's full of lava. And I just got bored. So, not really interested in World of Warcraft. Anonymous for 2 says, I've been unemployed and homeless for a week. Currently on a friend's couch. I have an apartment abroad from a time I was going to finish college. Should I stay in the US and try figuring shit out, or take the risk in Asia?
First aid techniques. May the stars guide.
How do you have an apartment if you don't have any money? Fuck it, go to Asia, bro. Good luck. Rungle, based in your pilled for 546 is, hey Josh, you should give Shadows of Doubt a try. It's a sandbox detective game with randomly generated crime cases to solve. My dude, I don't have time to emotionally invest in anything. I want to mindlessly grind content for hours at a time until there's something new for me to fix, okay? And there might be something new for me to fix very soon. Dude, let me check, I'm curious. Let me check my ticket, see if that's been resolved. A very eager beaver. Nope, no updates yet. They still have it. Hopefully they haven't fucked that one up too. Big Sneed for 437 says, I was face tanking a 100% level 83 corrupted map Crucible encounter as my RF jug as you were seething. Became one with the beef. Well, fuck you too, buddy. I look, here's the difference between you and me. Solo self-found. Solo self-found, homie. Are you solo self-found? No. Nah, nigga. You got them chaos orbs. You went to the market. You bought the finest twink gear. Twink because you gay. You put that shit on, and now you're like, oh, now I get to play the game. I crafted my shit. That's why I was doing Crucibles. I crafted my sword. I was leveling it up so I could replace my current one. Bot is fat for 2 says, fuck Graf for ruining the Fetty. Also, what do you think of the Illuminati drama? I have no idea what you're talking about, except for Graf being a faggot. Sorry, buddy. Anonymous for 10 says, since you're a 2% nigga, since you are a 2% nigga, watch this. Okay.
Harry, do you support gay marriage?
Yeah.
So you're saying it's alright me and you get married?
Fuck no.
Come back, I want to marry you.
Get away from me. You the gay shit.
I'm sorry.
That's weird. Doink the Clown for 5 says, John Potter, don't lie to me. You tried to update the BIOS on the server and it all went to shit. I know that happened. I know that what happened. I know you know what that happened. We all know that happened. Updating a BIOS is the worst idea a computer guy can have. I did not update the BIOS. They switched out the parts and it never came back on. Not lying.